Okay, so now that we got our load balancer working, I've gone ahead and set up a staging server. It's sort of a backdoor into our database because we don't want anyone coming in from our .com URL to try to hit like wp-login.php or wp-admin. So I've already gone ahead and set this up, but I'll just kind of walk you through what I did. I created an AMI, an image of one of these servers. It doesn't matter which one because they're both identical. So I did create image. Once that created, it took a little bit. It's over here in the AMI section, and then I did right click and I launched a server from that. You walk through the same, I could show you here, you walk through the same exact steps as you would if you were launching a normal server, except all of it is pretty much pre-filled out for you because it's an exact copy of the other ones. So then I had to create a new security group for the staging server, which gives port 80 access to everyone. You could lock this down to just your own IP address, but this is just a way for you to have a single instance as a backdoor to the database. And then the only other modification I made was in the RDS security group. I allowed MySQL connections from the staging server. So on the staging server, I had to also change the WP config to be this URL. So just so it knew just to talk to itself and not in production. And then there was one more other thing that needed to get installed on all of these servers, and I'll go ahead and run it by you first here. We need to install PHP 5 curl, and we also need to change the ownership of the www directory to the Apache user www-data. So let's go ahead and do that now. PHP 5 curl. And then we're going to have to restart Apache to pick up those changes. And we will data, change the ownership of that folder, and we're good on there. And I've already taken care of it on the other server. Okay, so now we have, as far as I know right now, all of the permissions taken care of, all of everything that we needed to get installed on all of these servers. I apologize for not grabbing those earlier on a large tutorial like this. Sometimes you forget some things. So now what we're looking at is the staging server. So this 54.173 is the staging server. So now basically this is going to be the place where we install our plugins and we kind of make our posts and create our pages, and then this will automatically go out to production. The only thing that we need to worry about is when we add a new plugin or add, let's say, a new CSS file, a new theme, we have to sync that out to the application servers so that they pick those up as well. So if you, downloaded a theme and put it on your staging environment and activated it, production wouldn't know about it because all those servers don't have those files. So that's one thing that we'll go over, and it's just an rsync command to rsync all the files from staging to production. Ultimately, in some cases, you'll want to automate a lot of this process. So services from Amazon like OpsWorks or Chef kind of help along and guide those things. But we're just getting a simple setup going here with WordPress, so we're going to use rsync. Now there's a bunch of different ways other than rsync that I'm going to show you to do this. I mean, you could use Git, you could use, like I said, Chef. You could manually FTP the files over to your application servers if you don't have too many. But the example I'm going to show you is with rsync. So I wrote a quick little script, and I'm going to show this to you here. And basically all it says is, and I'll post this too for you, is I'm going to rsync everything inside my server, my staging server, out to my two application tiers. And I'm just going to make sure that all my ownerships are www-data. Again, this is not optimal. I realize that rsync is actually pretty fast, But me personally, I would prefer to do it through Git. But as far as this tutorial is concerned, then I'd have to set up, a GitHub account and do all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to leave it like this with rsync. It's good to even know rsync in general. So what I'm going to do is kind of show you my setup here. So I've downloaded a couple plugins. I haven't activated them yet. I'm going to wait until I sync them out to the application servers. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So I showed you that quick little script. The one thing that you're going to have to pay attention to, depending on what you decide to sync out. In this case, I'm just saying sync out everything under the www root, which is also including wp config. So for this example, I have to, when I sync out, I have to uncomment the production lines and comment out the stage lines. Just so we know, production is always going to get the correct URL for their site home and their site URL. So let's go ahead and do that now. I've already synced them out, but I'll just show you how I run the script. So I'm just going to go up a couple. And so basically, it's just a bash script. So I'm going to run to sync out. So there was nothing to sync, obviously, because I've already synced everything out. But now that I'm going to go jump back into stage, I'm just going to comment those out and comment these guys here. Save it, and now I'm good. So in stage, what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate all these plugins. Some of these Redis object cache, we're going to need to add some configurations to our wp config to point to an external Redis cluster. But for now, I'm going to put in all of my access keys, and then the next step will be syncing this data out and then setting up a Redis server.